Hello everyone, and welcome to Trending in My Life. This week I thought it'd be interesting to show you how I get to work. So basically I took you with me on my commute. And of course there's lots of noise and people chatting and stuff like that. So I'm going to sort of do a voiceover, but I thought it would be interesting to stick bits of me talking about what you're seeing as well in. So I'm going to sort of come in and out of the clips. I know that the clips start at Victoria Station. Now I've already travelled from South London to that station on a train. I've walked to the station, then I've got on a train, and the first time I start filming is when I get off that train. So it's one of those weird things that if I miss one train or if it's cancelled, the first train is only 4 carriages long. The second train 15 minutes later is 8 carriages long. When it gets to Victoria, if it's the little train, it pulls in behind another train and you have miles to walk till you get to the main part of the platform. And if it's the other longer train, the 8 carriages one, that one goes right up to the gates where you have to go through the barriers and tap in your pass. So I don't know which one I'm getting really when I set off, because I can think, oh yeah, I'm getting the early one, but then like I say, it might be cancelled or delayed and then the later one takes its place. So I might be on a different one. It doesn't matter when you're close to the gate, but when you're a lot further away from the gate, it's not so good. Anyway, so I started by getting off the train, walking along the platform. You'll see there's lots of people around, and at that time it's about 6:10, 6:15 in the morning. So you're probably surprised at how many people are commuting at that time of day. And I walked through Victoria Station and down some steps and along a corridor till I have to tap in at another gate with my pass to go down into the underground. And that's down through a gate, down some steps and onto the platform there. Sometimes the platforms I haven't been able to record because it's just too many people. From there I have a choice of 2 different tube trains depending on what arrives first. So if the Circle line arrives first, I'll get on that but just go a couple of stops and then change again. If the District line arrives first, I might stay on that for longer and then change at a station that's already in West London. But it just depends, and sometimes if I get on that one that goes all the way through to West London, it's much more crowded. I went 2 stops, going down some steps and along a corridor and down one escalator and down some more steps so that I get to that platform. And you're thinking, how come this platform's completely empty? Well, the reason the platform is empty is because it's 14 minutes till the next train. There was problems with the line and the next train was 14 minutes. And when you're a commuter in London, 3 minutes is the average you wait. And if it's 5 you're moaning, 14 is beyond the pale. It's like, and this is what was happening. People would get to the platform, see that the readout, the board said 14 minutes, they'd turn straight round and go back out again, because they'll go and catch a different line or go in a slightly different direction in order to get where they're going, because they can go to a line which will arrive in 3 minutes, but they won't sit on a platform for 14 minutes or stand on a platform. In this case I was sitting down because I thought, well, I've got 14 minutes to wait. But it gave me a chance to show you the platform that I was waiting at, which was still Victoria. It was just Victoria Tube Station. And from there I got a tube out to West London, because it would take me all the way through to my end stop destination. That's the thing that keeps me happy when I'm commuting. I read my Kindle. So basically I lose myself in whatever book I'm reading, and that keeps me going, because otherwise the way the tube is set up, you're staring straight across at another person, and it's kind of not polite to keep staring at the person opposite you. It will probably freak them out. Anyway, the underground isn't always underground. To explain that, part of my journey, once you're out in West London, it comes overground, and you can actually see as if you were on a regular train, so you can see the scenery around you. But of course, to look out of that window, you're still looking at the person opposite, but sort of slightly to their left or to their right, but then they've got another person sat next to them. So, but anyway, you're looking at the scenery, and sometimes that's very useful if you didn't realise it was pouring down with rain, because it's happened while you were underground. So it's useful for you to know things like that. But yeah, I'll lose myself in a book. And I find it's very good for just switching off. I do that when I come home from work as well. The first train I get on, I start to read my Kindle, and then I have to switch trains again, and again I'm reading my Kindle. If I get the bus at the end of my journey, sometimes I don't, sometimes I walk further. But if I do, I wouldn't get my Kindle out on a bus, because you're too elbow to elbow kind of thing, and yeah, you kind of feel like somebody might grab it off you and run off the bus. So yeah, which is less likely when you're on a train. But yeah, and I thought it would just be interesting for you to see how I get to work. And it's one of those things that, because I've been doing it for 14 years now, I don't think about it as being terrible. It's just part of life, you just put up with. And it takes me 2 hours to get home, no matter which way I go. It takes me sometimes only an hour and a half to get there. But it's one of those things, if you're just really lucky and you like step off one train and the next train you want is pulling in across the platform, you can get straight on it. These are rarities. These don't usually happen, but occasionally if you get that happening, then that's how you will get from that bit earlier to where you're trying to get to. But it doesn't matter what I do on the way home, it's always 2 hours to get home. And at the end of my journey on the way to work, still continuing that, when I get to my last station, you'll see me walk along the platform, going up the steps, and then I'll be walking along various streets to get to where I work. And I could walk along a very busy road to do that, but I use some back streets, because in the morning, if you do that, you can have a really quiet street and you can hear the birds tweeting, and it's really pleasant. Whereas if you're walking next to a very busy road, which I do right at the end of my walk, but it's nice to have that little quiet time down back streets that sort of zigzag through in the same direction, but it just feels peaceful and a nice way of easing into the day. And at the moment, you know, I'm very happy about the fact that it's daylight when I go to work. That's only happened in the last few weeks, and it's wonderful, so I'm very happy about that. And then, like I say, I read my Kindle, so I'm happy when I'm doing that. And I don't really... to explain, I once said to someone I've known years who doesn't live in London about how long my commute was, and she was horrified and said, for heaven's sake, get another job. Find somewhere else to work, much closer to home. That's crazy how much you travel. And I think a lot of Londoners, I mean, they say the average commute is an hour each way. That's not just an hour all told. And we get, it's, you know, it's part of life. If you need to get to the job, then you need to commute to it. And I've never specifically lived close to my work, because I think it's better to live where you want to live, in an area that you like, rather than have your job dictate where you live. So yes, it doesn't bother me. It's just something that I'm completely used to now. So yeah, and I've said before how you find moments of happy, and I certainly do that when I'm walking up to the train station first thing in the morning, and when I get to the other end, and the last part of my journey there is a walk. And you know, I'm looking at the daffodils, and I'm looking at the starts of greenery sprouting on trees, and you see different birds around the place. I saw 2 jays the other day, which is very unusual, and they must have been like a nesting pair because they were together, but they weren't sort of nervous of somebody walking by. They just sort of sat there and looked at me. And the beautiful sort of browny colour, because they're not like well, I suppose they are like a blue jay, but they're brown. So yeah, that was a surprise. You just don't see them around the place. They're not a bird that you see very often. Yeah. I actually saw this street art from the train on my commute home one day, and then the next day I got off the train and walked there so that I could video it, because I think it's absolutely amazing. Such a talented artist, and I just wanted to show you. There's a positive from my commute. Yeah, so I hope you're having a lovely week, and that you're feeling positive and looking forward to sunnier days and vacations, maybe wherever you are. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and come back next time. Bye for now.